everyone. Welcome to Battle of the Sexes. How is everybody doing tonight? Okay, we're gonna go to the chat. Let me just drop the link for my panel members. Tonight should be an interesting show, guys. We're doing part 2 of last week's episode. Hopefully you guys are just as excited as we are about it. And in true Candidly Vee fashion, we switched it up to kind of put the energy back on the ladies a little bit to make it fair for the gentlemen on the panel and for the gentlemen that watch. Hey Tika Shane, hey K Trey. Welcome. K Trey. I don't believe I know you, but thank you for coming. Welcome for your first show. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Anita. Oh, my ladies are here and they are ready. Are y'all ready for tonight, ladies?
We ready. We ready.
Hey.
We ready.
Hey. Oh my gosh, guys, you know I like to have some fun with the ladies. How are you guys doing? How's everybody doing?
Good. Trying to get in focus here. Hey, everybody.
Girl. I wonder where the men are.
You know, I wouldn't doubt if they band together and you're like, you know what? We're not going to come on just because.
What's up?
The birthday queen is here, okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my lighting right, make sure it's right, okay?
Looking fabulous.
Let's go on.
Oh, I love y'all.
You looking good, girl. Look inches, honey. It's the inches for me.
Y'all like that?
It's the inches for me. It's the inches for me.
Okay. I was just trying something different. 46 give you a new ooh. Let's give you a little something to say 46 is what?
Okay. And you can, girl.
What a boy at? What a fellas at? They late?
Usual.
What? They always say
somebody has arrived.
Oh,
what is it? 10 minutes late. Let's see who it is. Oh. Hello, Mr. Harrison, Funny Vlogs.
Is that him?
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Is your mic on? Is your mic on? Can't hear you.
There's a reason we can't hear him too, because he was probably talking some smack that we don't listen to.
I was saying that I've been here waiting on you to start the show.
You know what it is? It's that $3,000 equipment that he has.
Is that what that is?
Just watch this. What's that?
Oh my God.
Okay, right.
That's it. I'm trying to step up this YouTube game. You know what I'm saying?
You know all the way up. What?
You know what I'm saying?
Girl.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
But look, I got angles. Shoot. Right. What?
You better show him your angles, girl. Mm-hmm.
Show it off.
Mm-hmm. You in the hole with angles.
Derek C. Williams, what's going on?
Hey, Story and Dawn. Hey, Erica. Hey, Derek. Welcome, everyone. Please don't forget to hit those thumbs up on your way in. Tika and Shane. Hey, guys. Oh. What do you want to say, Dre?
I want to test something out. Is it okay if I try something out?
Go ahead. I'm scared.
No, don't be scared. I gotta test this out. Hold on.
That's just like a man. I always want to come and interrupt. What?
Hold up. Bear with me, because I want to try this. Let me see.
Okay, now that you can test out.
Yes, I can test this out. The quality is dope.
You know what that means, right?
Hold on, I could be in a corner right there.
Like, come
on, son.
I need your equipment. Hey!
Come on.
Dre.
Yeah.
Dre.
Yes.
You need to go ahead. So you have all this fancy equipment, right? $3,200 worth of equipment right now.
Yeah.
That means that you can just go ahead and make an intro for Battle of the Sexes.
I could try to. Well, let's see if I can get some sound. Oh, this sound too.
Okay.
This sound too. Can you guys hear it?
Tonight, real men feel safe enough to open up to women emotionally. That is the question for this week. Who would like to go first? Wow.
So last week we started with the men first last week, right? So I think that the ladies should go first.
Okay, then.
Thank you for letting me test that out. I appreciate it.
I like that. That's so cool, Dre.
Yay!
Thank you.
Good job. Hello, Real.
Are we silent today? We just silent.
I'm in listening mode tonight.
No, you ain't. No, you ain't.
Me too. I'm in listening mode tonight too. Okay. We all in listening
Not
mode.
me.
Hey,
I am going to get a drink.
Welcome.
Hey, Harry.
Bro, Harry's in the building.
Hey, Harry. Oh, Harry. Let's do stuff for us. He did.
Hi, Harry.
Like, what?
Welcome.
Okay, y'all, let's stop messing around. Okay, we're going to get into the show. Let's get it started. Tonight's question is, what can we as women do to allow the men to feel safe to be vulnerable with us? It's a continuation from last week, right? We talked about why men don't feel that they can be safe and vulnerable around us. So now this week, we're trying to fix the root of the issue, and we're switching it around to the ladies to see how much we got out of last week and see if we can help the men to feel safe and to want to be vulnerable with their women. So, as Dre just kindly replayed for us, he said that the ladies went first last week. So this week, we're handing it over to the men to start the show. So, Real Talk 87. What do you feel we can do to make men feel more safe and vulnerable?
Oh, so you're going to force me to talk today, huh? Okay.
She called you out too.
Well, I mean, we want to make sure that you're heard.
Yes, we want to make sure you're very heard today.
It sounds like they're being funny and facetious. I don't know. I'm feeling
I
a different kind of energy.
No.
I'm being Candidly Vee,
No.
okay?
We want to make sure he's very
Not at all.
he's heard by all of us, okay?
I'm making sure everybody's heard, okay?
Mhm.
Yes.
But it's your turn to start, man. And I figured the Real should start this week because Dre actually started the last time when the men started. So I'm being fair. That's fair.
And to help situations out, I will go dark and mute so you have no distractions from me.
Me too. I'm gonna put my nuts on mute too, okay? Let's help him.
Wait, but that's not what he wants though. Like you guys are now like like if you guys are serious about the conversation, that's not what he wants. Like, you guys are being funny right now. Come on. That's not what he wants.
Absolutely not. I want him to be heard above all things.
All what he got to say.
Above all things.
So, but before we do that,
the math
doesn't add up. There's like 13 people watching right now, only 10 likes. What's up, people?
Okay, that means 3 of you guys have come into the
What's
house,
up?
and 3 of you have not hit that like button. So smash that like button on your way in, please. Thank
Yes,
you.
please.
Just take a
Thank you.
minute to double check that you have hit that thumbs up for your girl. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Okay, so back to being serious. And for today's debate, Real Talk 87.
Okay. I'm gonna be real quick. The first thing, you ain't gotta, okay, whatever. The first thing women can do is, first of all, understand that your man is a human being and we have emotions just like women have emotions. First thing you gotta understand. And second of all, don't rush him to be vulnerable to you. Give him time to open up to be vulnerable. Don't keep bugging him, asking him what's wrong. When a man feels safe enough to tell you what's wrong, he'll let you know. So just give him that time and space, and give him and just have patience for him to know that, okay, it's okay. Then he can open up finally when he feels it's necessary for him to open up. That's it. I'm done. I'm in listening mode now.
No need to listen. It's open conversation. Go ahead, Dre.
Well, if I can, I'll add to that because he's right, and I think the one thing that women want from us is also, most women, I don't want to say all, some women want from us, they also don't want from us. Because the second we start to share how we feel, they don't want to hear it, or they want to play a tennis match. A man can say, this is on my heart, and this is what you did made me feel this way. All of a sudden, it'll turn into, but you did this too, and so on and so forth. So for men don't go on seesaw battles. Most men aren't looking to get into, you did this, but you did this. Like that's not what we want. All right. So when men feel like they cannot share, they cannot open, if it keeps like return to them, right? Because let's talk about this. Women are vocal. They don't mind sharing and expressing what's on their heart, what's making them feel hurt. They can do that. Men, if they feel like what I'm about to say is not going to be received by the person that I'm telling it to, they would rather just not say anything at all. Most men, not all, most men value their words enough not to share it with people who aren't going to take it in. So if they're in a situation where they're having a conversation with a young lady and the young lady is not trying to hear what he has to say, he is not going to open up. He's not going to be vulnerable because he values his emotions. He values his feelings. He values his word. So if and first off, and I think women, if you're out there, please listen to this. If he's willing to open up himself and be vulnerable, that's because he has given you a window or even a door, an opportunity to see inside him. And you got to take that opportunity. If you don't take that opportunity, he's going to shut that door forever. He's going to shut that window forever, and you would have lost him. Men don't open up to everybody, and they don't allow everybody inside that emotional safe place. And once he opens up that place to you, and you make him feel like he's not being heard, he's going to shut the door, and he will not open up again.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Nita. Wait, are you finished? Finished. Go ahead, Nita.
I was waiting for Dre to respond and say if he was finished or not. I
was done.
Oh, okay. I have a follow-up question I'm just trying to be as respectful as I can 2021 moving forward. I have a follow-up question for Real Talk 87. How long should a woman wait for a man to be vulnerable if they have been in a relationship for some time?
There's no timetable. It's whenever he feels comfortable to do it. So it really depends on the type of woman you are. There's no timetable.
I agree.
So she's supposed to just make whatever adjustments to the relationship in order to make him feel like he is safe enough to open up?
she had to make a judgment. She don't have to if she don't want to. But it would be nice if she, you know, and that's the thing too. Like I said, it depends on the type of woman you are. Like if he is with a woman who, how can I say this without being disrespectful? If he's with a woman who's, you know, not great at listening, then it's gonna require a whole lot more time for him to just open up to her.
First, I'm sorry. I hate to interrupt you. She just came into the chat, and all of a sudden her face is like completely blocked. That's kind of messed up. Oh, there we go.
Wait, I'm trying to do something. Hold on.
She came in the panel, and all of a
It's
sudden,
okay. You don't have to see my face. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late.
Hey, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Andrea.
Hey, Robin.
Gorgeous. You look beautiful. Shanita, you look gorgeous. Vee, as always, you always look stunning.
Thank you,
And gentlemen, hello.
Robin, you look amazing.
Thank you. I'm trying to be like you, you know?
Big hair, don't care. Okay? Yeah.
Sorry, I just interrupted everything just now. I'm so sorry. We lost Vee.
Well, no, actually, you didn't interrupt. You just came on and Harrison interrupted.
You see that, Harrison?
Speaking of mugs, Harrison, I want to buy one of your mugs.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, where can I do that?
On my Teespring, where I got other merchandise like sweatshirts and hoodies and other stuff. But this isn't about Miss Harrison Family Vlogs, and we could talk afterwards.
Okay.
Right.
On teesprings.com.
Teesprings.com. Yeah. Look at Vee's face. Is she frozen? Oh no! All right.
No, she's good.
I'm here. Sorry.
Harrison, I mean, Real Talk was talking. Did
I interrupt?
Yes.
Actually, it was me. It was me who interrupted.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I want this to be a safe space for you. I really do.
Indeed.
Okay, anyway, back to the topic.
Shanita, what was your question again?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
What was your question again?
I think the question was, how long should she wait for him to open up?
No, it was another question. I answered that question already.
He said that how it's whenever he feels like it. And then you said, I have a follow-up question. Basically.
Yeah. You had a follow-up question to that. Because my answer was there's no timetable.
You know what?
Huh?
Okay, there's no timetable. With there being no timetable, is she then just supposed to wait for him until whatever and make whatever adjustments if she wants him to be vulnerable?
Yeah, if she really loves him, she should wait for him to open up.
Can I add?
What will be the hindrance for him? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
And if I can add on to that, and I think what he's saying has a valid point, because if you are like pressuring him to open up to you, then it's less about him and more about you. So if you really care about him opening up, right, and that's what he's going to do it when he's ready to, when he feels like, and he can do it and not lose respect for the woman he's with, or she's not going to clown him for being an emotional person like we all are. All right. If she's pressuring, well, you need to open up. You need to let me in. That becomes more about her and less about him opening up to her.
Okay.
How does that become more about her? I just want to know. Like you said, it's like if she's pressuring him, like it becomes more about her. In what sense?
Because he's not ready to open up at that specific moment. And she's probably feeling like rejected because he's not opening up. At that point, it's about her feelings of rejection, or it could be about the feelings of rejection, like, he's not letting me in, so he's rejecting me.
Mhm.
Because, and for the most part, and ladies, you can tell me if I'm wrong, okay? For the most part, you want to feel like the man that you're with has let you in.
Yes.
That's a big one.
That's a huge one.
Very
It's
important.
huge for a lot of women out there. And
I
if
think
a
it's
man is
important.
not, yeah, and if a man is not letting you in, you feel somewhat rejected, like you feel pushed out. And it's not that he doesn't want to let you in. He wants to make absolutely sure that once he lets you in, not about to ransack his house. That emotional house that he built with those strong bricks, with a very small door that he only lets certain people in, exclusive people in. He wants to make sure that the person I'm letting into this very strong house that I built is not about to ransack it.
And you got to realize too that, us as men, we've been taught as little boys to not be so emotional. So it's not gonna 30 years down the line, it's not gonna you got to allow longer than a few minutes or a few days or a few weeks for this man to finally start to open up to you, because we've been taught for so many years not to be like that. So it's going to take a long time for us to finally be like that. That's what it is.
That's a good point, actually.
So it kind of opens up and takes me back to last week when I asked the question, if you're not vulnerable or you don't feel safe to be vulnerable, then can a relationship truly work between the two individuals without a party without a party feeling safe to be vulnerable within that relationship?
I think it all boils down to trust. I mean, trust, it takes a while to build trust anyway. So if so many months or years go by and this man still ain't opening up to you, that should tell you something anyway. That should let you know that maybe he don't trust you enough yet. So either wait it out or what's up?
No, finish, sorry.
No, I was pretty much done with it. What's up? I was
gonna say, so if you don't trust the person you're with, why are you in that relationship? Because I'm not getting with somebody that I don't trust yet. For me personally, I'm building that trust level up with you when we're dating and getting to know each other. That's where I'm building that trust up. So if I'm able to get to the point where I'm in a relationship with you, I trust you at this point. I'm trusting you in everything. So why is it different for men?
Because it's not a gender thing when it comes to that. I mean, some people while they're dating, they automatically put their trust into somebody. Other people, they go into a relationship not completely trusting them. Mm-hmm. And they build it during the relationship. So everybody don't operate the same way. So
true.
Okay.
And everybody, so in their own time, they open up in their own time. When you're dating, and in fact, a lot of people aren't really opening up honestly in the dating stages. Mm-hmm. What they're doing is they open up very little. And I think that's a safe way to do it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, so I'll give you an example of what I do. This is like around people in group settings. I share information that I don't mind people knowing, but I'll only share it with one person. This way I know if somebody else comes to me with that information, I know exactly who it's come from and I know who not to trust. Mm-hmm. Right? In the beginning stages of a relationship, right? You should be sharing what you don't mind everybody else knowing. You should be sharing a little bit about yourself that everybody pretty much knows. And then once trust is gained and developed, you start sharing a little bit more intimate things, right? Like on a first date, right? If me and Andrea goes out on a date and she's been molested in the past, she's not going to probably start off the date saying, hey, so back when I was so-and-so, I was molested. That's an intimate detail that she should not be sharing because who am I, right? Who am I? On the dating stages, it should happen, but little by little until the person that develops that trust. So with guys, it's the same way, but we have put up some safeguards so that, and again, like as Rick was saying, 30 years of development of this, right? And the thing is, it doesn't just happen with our mothers and our fathers. It also happens in relationships, because when we're young, and ladies, I'm not like coming at the ladies, right? It's just a reality. When you are younger, it's hard for you to really see a man who is opening up and being vulnerable as a real man when you're 21, 22, and 23. So when they are trying to do it in a relationship stage, and they're told by, the girl that they like, and he trusted to open by opening up, that he's a little B, and he's a crybaby, it's always about you, blah 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 blah. All that stuff helps him build more bricks in front of his house, develop a stronger fort around his emotional being, and it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder. So I think for the most part, everybody on this planet is looking for somebody to open up to, and they will even open up the door just a little bit. But once that door is open and that person violates that trust, that what Robin wants to exploit as that safe place, a guy will shut the door hard in somebody's face, especially a lady that he's been dating. Hard. And then at that point, like V, at that point, they should separate. They should end the relationship. But you know what happens? They've invested so much time that they would dwell in that emotionally toxic environment for an extremely long time until things break. Trauma has been embedded and deeply rooted inside both of them. And then eventually they'll break up and bring all that trauma into the next relationship. And they have PTSD from what happened in the last relationship. And it takes a whole lot more now. Now they even close off even more than they were in the previous relationship.
I've definitely done that to some men in my past.
Hey, Erica. Hey, Derek. Erica,
Hi.
you were here first, so I'll let you go first.
Bro.
I'll let you go first.
I agree with what. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Agree. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I don't have an extra mic on or anything tonight. I agree with how the guys were putting, Harrison and Real were putting things about men before, when they were saying that, how quick men will shut, women off and stuff. Because the thing is, men have a hard time opening up about their emotions, but women it's just the same thing with both sexes, but with different things, right? It's like women work hard to get to men emotionally. Men work hard to get to us physically. Right? We both put in the same effort, but in different ways. You know what I mean? We both trying to achieve a goal, but the goal is just different because
I like that.
That's when they were talking, I was just like, it sounded so much like the same conversation that we have about men pushing early on to, like have sex right away, and how guarded some women can be about not wanting to be vulnerable in that way. And men don't understand and think, well, it's just physical. It's not that big a deal. Why we can't, have sex on the second, third, fourth date, and they don't understand why you holding out, So when they said that about holding out on their emotions and taking so much time, and it goes to, we always joke about, but I think it's a lot of truth to it, about men being more emotional and sensitive than we are, because they covet their emotions. Women, we just have a lot of emotions, but we let them spill all over the place, right?
We're good.
We don't really like covet them. We can say all day long, girl, I'm never gonna get with nobody like that no more, and all of that, right? And then we'll turn right around and get
tomorrow
in another relationship that's in the same cycle as the last.
Yeah.
Like, girl, she said she wasn't gonna date nobody else like that again, and here we are in part 15. You know what I mean?
Yep.
men, when
Yeah.
they're right, when they shut it down, when they close the door, they close the door. We do that even with our girlfriends. I'm not talking to her no more. She didn't piss me off. We done. 6 months go by. She call you because she needs you or wants something, or or something like that, and we open the door again.
That's so true.
Uh, we're the same way, but just about different things.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I've never heard that in that way before, but it makes so much sense. So that's really amazing. So true.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, Derek.
Hey, Derek.
Hello, Derek.
Welcome.
Yeah. Shout out and respect due to the host, Candidly Vee. I see you, Miss Lynch, Mr. Harrison, the man. That's a man right there. Real Talk 87, you know you my people. Gemini season, Miss Hunter, Miss Robin, how you?
Hello.
All right. And to the Florida panelists, how you? Yeah. Candidly Vee, this is for you.
Dre got her red cup tonight.
Yeah, Candidly Vee, this is for you. This is our daily red. What kind of wine do you drink?
I like black, Stella Rosa black, or I like Moscato.
Okay. Well, this is an organic wine. Okay, well, this is an organic wine. You may want to look into it. It's called Our Daily Red. No sugar, no sulfite, no hangover. I'm a crack the bottle open now.
It's a good wine.
Yeah, I'm gonna crack the bottle open now. So I'm gonna give a little salute to you for having me on. And while I pour this, I'll just like less than 3 minutes of your time. I agree with the
panel. To add to the conversation?
I'm sorry?
Do you have something to add to the conversation?
You cut me off, ma'am. I just was about to.
Oh, okay. Continue.
There you go. All right. Anyway, Candidly Vee, as I was saying, salute to you. Now, what I was going to say was that I actually agree with Mr. Harrison, and I agree with Ms. Hunter. Both of them made valid points, but I would just throw this little caveat in just right quick. I guess I would be lining up kind of like with To Be Loved, in the fact that we kind of want the same thing, we just go about it different. But men and women, just the fact of the matter is we socialize differently. And when you meet somebody, I just go off the Chris Rock school of thought. You meet their representative. You don't get to see the whole me until on down the line. I've always made the joke, I found out whether the woman is a psychopath after we done did what we done. You really don't know a person. I mean, it's a physical thing to get you to look at them to start with. But then we start developing, we get to know each other. We start trusting one another. We start talking. We converse. I give you my secrets. You give me yours, things of this nature, and we build trust off that way. But the fact is that we've been socialized different. Women use the power of the punani. Men use the power of the pocketbook, or the wallet, I should say. And that's pretty much how we run a lot of times. And so you're going to always have this disconnect. I think as long as you have men and women, and the fact that women of the two sexes is a little bit more emotional. That now that you have all these young guys coming up today that don't have strong male role models, you can make the argument that men are becoming just as emotional. That's pretty much where we are. And I think as you get older, you should mature and develop, and then you're able to navigate this relationship minefield. Back in the 80s, Pat Benatar had a song called "Love Is a Battlefield." And in many ways it is, but it don't have to be. It's just the fact that for whatever reason, men and women, just like as y'all like to say on this panel, people just like to come at everybody. And myself, I've never been one to do that. My job is to work with you, not against you. And so that's pretty much all I want to say. Again, salute to Candidly Vee, Mr. Harrison. I see a man right there, Miss Lynch. Happy belated birthday, Miss Robin, Real Talk 87. Miss Hunter, Gemini season, to the Florida panelists. All y'all take care. All right?
All right.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. All y'all take care.
Bye, Derek.
All right. Salute.
Robin, what are your thoughts on today's topic?
I'm actually learning a lot because I was the 21-year-old that made a man feel really bad about his emotional state. So, you grow up, you change. I had a boyfriend back in my younger days, and he was overly emotional. And I took that for weakness, but also I was a different person over 15 years ago or so. So I definitely see what Harrison was saying. I definitely made him feel, I came straight out and said, like, you're weak. And even to this day, that man is still suffering, with his emotions. And I feel like I have caused that. So, thankfully, I'm not in that situation anymore. But even in my marriage, like 10 years into it, like my husband is just now starting to open up and to be able to be emotional with me. So I also understand and recognize what Rio said, that, it's true. Like when boys are small, they're told to suppress that. Don't cry, be a man. And I never looked at it like that. So actually, I'm learning a lot from you guys right now, from each and every view, because, these are all good things that I'm learning. So
That's dope.
Andre, you haven't said
Love
anything
that.
yet.
No, I'm being quiet tonight. I'm learning.
we want to hear from you, Andrea. Andrea, you have boys.
I have
boys.
Yes.
How is that, raising a man?
Yeah, how did they open up? Like, what's that situation like?
Okay, so I think he was playing football, and he was like, he got hit. And the first minute, he was come out the field like he was about to cry. I was like, "Oh no, man up!" I don't see no tears. But after the game, we went home. I said, "How is it?" He was like, "Mom, I'm about to cry." I was like, "On the field, we can't show no emotions. But when you get home, we can show all the emotions." Okay, but he talks to me. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about a lot of things through football, and we talk about a lot of things through like men stuff. Like when Michael Big had the dog fighting, we would talk about that, and we would add to the conversation. So I would bring what he loved and add to the conversation. But he's good about his emotions. I can say something to him, but sometimes my tongue is very lethal. So sometimes I have to watch what I say to him so I won't damage him, because sometimes I got a tongue as lethal, and I don't play.
You preaching to the choir.
I ain't gonna lie, my tongue will be lethal, but I have to know sometimes when it not to put that pressure on him and take it to that next level. But sometimes we can go toe to toe, and I don't want to do that to him. And so I am learning when to hold back and when not to speak my mind when I really want to speak my mind to him.
Shanita,
I'll let Dre go because he is a man, and men, they are the rulers and creators of all things, and they are leaders. So Dre, Harrison Family Vlogs, if you would like to go before me, King.
Erica's camera fell down.
Wait, let me see if this works, because she does this. When people do that to her, let me see if this works. Because
Peace begins with me.
Peace
begins with
me. Because the brother's about to turn up. right, no, I'm kidding. All right, so if I also I just wanted to add to what you were saying, Andrea Lynch. I said your name like, not only do you have to know when to share, but it's also important to know when he can share. The damage doesn't come because you share. A lot of the damage comes is because you refuse to let him share.
Okay, but sometimes my mouth is legal. So sometimes the damage is what I say to him and
So,
how I say it to him.
well, yeah, but also if he goes to respond and you shut him down. So let's say if your mouth is lethal and he tells you, "Mom, that's not right. Don't talk to me like that." You're probably going to shut him down. Like, who are you talking to? I'm your mother. You're going to shut up and sit down and listen, right? The damage also comes when you don't allow him the space to talk.
Okay.
So you're right. Your mouth can be lethal, and you acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
But also, damage happens when a mom shuts their son down from speaking up for himself.
Oh, he have always spoke up for himself. Trust and
Okay.
believe.
All right.
Always.
My son might
Andrea,
send you
how
a thank
old is-
you card, Harrison.
My
You got
son
me
is
scratching my head right now.
my son is
My
22.
son might send you a
Oh,
thank
he's grown.
Yeah, my son is 22, and honey, he lets me know when he don't when he feel like I'll cross the line. He ain't no joke.
I'll be honest, mine does too. My son is 26, and we just
Y'all
had
got
a
some
heated
grown
conversation.
children.
Right?
Yes.
Oh,
Dang.
Conversation yesterday,
yeah.
and Harrison got me scratching my head like, oh damn, I might have messed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I've always encouraged both my sons to speak their mind and to that they can say whatever they need to say to me. But I do also sometimes come across like there's a certain way you need to say it because you have to respect me.
Absolutely.
And I never, like Robin said, I never thought about it in a sense that maybe sometimes he just needs to let it out, and the same thing, I would allow somebody to do if I was counseling them, to just let it out without judgment.
Yeah.
About that, and then circle back to, okay, whatever I want to say. But sometimes maybe I do need to do that, and I haven't done that in the past.
Yeah.
I have not. And maybe that's the part of what he's trying to say to me, because I've encouraged him I'll ask him straight out, what do you need from me in order for our relationship to be better, and from order for me to understand where you're coming from? Because clearly there's a lack of communication, of being able to hear each other's perspective between the two of us. Yeah. So what do you need from me? And he very well might be trying to say what you just said, and I'm just not hearing that.
I think also what you were saying was also true as well. Like, he needs to learn how to talk to you. So in the midst of him talking, you give him that freedom to talk. But when he starts to raise his voice, his chest starts to puff out, that's when you say, boy, I'm going to listen to you. You better tone your voice down. All right. I'm still your mother. I'm giving you the space to talk to me.
Right.
But you're not going to disrespect me in the process, because then it can go completely the other way. Because we've seen some sons out there just, outright disrespecting their mothers and fathers in public and talking to them any which way, and they need to be coached how to, so it can go like, you give him so much freedom that he takes advantage of it because he hasn't been coached, or you could completely shut him down and he won't have any idea of how to express himself in a healthy way.
I think sometimes he feels, if I'm on the outside looking in, of course, I don't know his thoughts or exactly how he feels, but it seems to be sometimes he feels like I'm not hearing how he feels, even though I'm the same person who will and has always, like, I could be very observant about things. So I think he feels like I nitpick like every single thing, and that I'm always watching him to see if he's fulfilling his obligations as a man in the way in which I raised him, because that was always important to me. to raise the kind of men that women would be taken care of by, you know what I mean? And that the community would be enhanced by. And when I see him not doing that, it's like I could be really on him about things. And so sometimes I think that it makes him just freeze. Like if I just do nothing, and even my husband in the past, you know, I'll say to him, oh, he's being like you. In the past, my husband, I think, was like that as well. We've been together, 32 years, married 25 years. Thank you.
That's
And
amazing.
It's a back and forth, and you know, we learn. He always say, Andrea knows him, and I always say he's the same person that he was when I met him when he was 16 years old. I'm different. I've probably been like 5 or 6 different people. He's the same exact guy from when I met him. But he is, you know, I liked this topic because part of what we've gone through and what we're really working on now, you know, in year 25, yes, you are still working.
Wow. That's amazing.
Wow.
And he's doing the work though. You know, it has taken a while, but he's doing that work on his emotions and talking to me and working on communicating better and realizing how important that is to me. Because in the last week, a lot of the men were saying, and I know Harry was saying, you know, men don't need a lot, you know, to communicate. And you know how you hear your guy talk on the phone and he's talking on the phone and they don't even say bye or salutations and stuff, right? They just say, all right, click. You know what I mean?
Yeah, click.
It's like they keep it down to the bare minimum, right? Women, we talk, you know, we'll take an hour to say
we need every detail.
We need every detail.
For real.
They don't. You know, they'll say 2 words and understand everything that happened last night.
and then here's the thing. And then they want to ask us or tell us, I feel like I'm not being heard. We heard all 17,000 words you said. We just don't know which one you really want us to focus on.
Oh my gosh, my husband just like, he's just like, get to the point. What's the point? And I'm like, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
It's like Harrison said though, like they hear us, but it starts to turn into like the teacher from
Charlie Brown.
Wah, 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 and they hear us. It's like they're still talking, so I still got to give the verbal cues to make it seem like I'm listening, but I'm really not.
And the thing is, and we genuinely want to hear what you have to say. Like we're listening. Right. But then when it goes off, and the thing is, we don't want to shut you down either. So we're going to let you talk because we want you to feel like you're being heard and you need to let it out. So we're not going to interrupt you. We'll let you talk. Right. We may just say, okay, so after the hour and a half has passed, what is it exactly that you wanted me to change? You know, we may.
He knows us.
Men.
Yes, Shanita Marie randomly.
Yeah, I have a question, you know, for y'all men, because why did my father shut me down all the time? I just want to know that. You know, can you help me out with that?
Say it again.
You might need to ask your father.
Yeah. Why did my father always shut me down?
Because you're a girl.
I think it's that's a
since y'all are men, you know, we don't supposed to shut our boys down, but my father is always shutting me down.
I probably wouldn't recommend him doing that either.
Yeah.
Just
but that's an old
shutting you down like what? Like you should be seen and not heard type of thing, or
the man, anything I got to say, he always say I'm combative. He always say I disagree. He always say I got something to say. He always say he don't.
Honestly,
why did Real just break out?
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
He ain't lying.
You have to ask yourself, are you combative all the time with him? Are you like so? That's
I'm Andrea, but he feels like. But the thing is, he's from the old school. He like 74, and I'm 46. And see, I feel like when you get grown parents, and your child is grown. If the parent is grown, the child is grown. we should have a different relationship. But he feels like he's from the old school. I'm still do what he say, and I'm still saying I'm grown and I live in my own place.
And he's always been that, even when you were younger, when he was
when I'm younger, he like that, and I'm trying. This is the new thing for me. I'm trying to keep my mouth shut, but it's a hard thing to do. You know, I'm just saying, okay, daddy, but I ain't happy with it. But I'm trying to have a new relationship. So I'm just saying I don't feel like I'm combative. I just feel like I want to be heard, and he don't want to hear me. And I just don't think that's fair. I'm just trying to, ask the man.
I mean, I don't know, because me as a father of 3 daughters, I let my daughters talk whenever they want to talk. So I don't know.
Okay.
I guess it's just a fathering style.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
But Andrea, you're passionate. So I think some men, I'm going to use Dre's word, some men, they see that as combative. They see that as like literally you're passionate. So when you feel something deep in your soul, like you have to rah! But it's not you being like, you're not being combative. You're just saying what's on your mind and on your heart. But some people take that as, ooh, this girl's too much. I don't know. But
yes,
I don't take it as that. I think I love your passion. Sometimes I wish I had that in me, because sometimes I'm not taken seriously because I'm so soft. But it is what it is.
I agree with Robin, but can I say this though? I had to learn this growing up too, and it's true in a sense. If you have several people, especially people who don't know each other, say the same thing about you, that's something you need to actually listen to. So I'm not saying that what they're saying is true, but that's something you just got to listen to and just, if they all say this, attempt to change it or just accept it.
Attempt to accept what my dad is saying is right about me?
No, I'm not just what he said, but if him and then somebody else who don't know him say the same thing about you, and then somebody else who don't know neither one of them say that same thing about you, there might be something to it. That's my point.
Like there's some truth in it.
Yeah.
If many people are saying it.
If many people are saying it, then that's just something you got to look into. Like, okay, maybe what they're saying has a point. So I'm not saying you are combative. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that you being passionate may come off as combative. So that's my point.
I mean, I always been a rebel. When my dad said yellow, I said orange. That's just
and you wonder why.
And that ain't combative? That's not combative?
That's combative.
But the thing is, if I'm grown, this is how I feel now. If I'm grown, I'm paying my own way. You ain't got to take care of me. You ain't got to do nothing for me. I'm just your daughter doing my thing. Come on, can you just show me a little mercy? That's all I'm asking.
Shanita has something to say. What's up, Shanita?
I wondered a lot about that with Andrea until I had the privilege of meeting her family. And they's all loud. There are 7 kids in her family.
She like the Braxtons.
Yes. And her mom is a lot like her. And she's a twin. So it's like, if you once you know that kind of about her, it's like I just give Drea a pass after that, because she wants to be heard. Because I can't imagine. I was like an only child for 7 years, and then I had 1 sister. I cannot imagine being a twin and having to compete with somebody always, every day of your life. Oh gosh. And also being busted in on.
I wish I had a twin.
You want to say hi? Say hi
real
fast.
Hi, cutie.
Hi.
You are so beautiful. Oh my God. She's so beautiful.
Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
So
She always busted in on me.
Oh, Thanks for
why I
that
usually
baby
would be.
fever, by the way. Thanks for that baby fever.
Right.
Going
But,
through it.
you know, Andrea is like, she has, you know, the 7 kids. She had, you know, I mean, the 7 people to compete with. Her mom is she's just like her mom, you know. And so it's like, if she was quiet, she had to fight to be heard her entire
That's
life.
true.
For what, 19? You left when you were what, 18, 19, 20? 22 years she had to fight to get a sandwich.
I had
Okay.
to fight.
Dang.
What? She had to fight to get
Kill
a
him
piece
dead.
of chicken on the table. So she always is like, feels like now that she's grown, she had to put up with it, right? Living in a family. But once she got grown and got out, it was like her attitude was like, I don't have to put up with nobody not listening to me anymore. And so now it's like, by hook or by crook, her voice is gonna be heard. And so that's, you know, that's kind of like where she comes from all the time. But I totally understood. Once when I was in a room with more than 4 of them at one time, I was like, is it 200 people in here?
I love that.
Them Thompsons, you can just invite the Thompsons over. You have a whole party going.
Wow. Well.
Yes.
Well, I will consider what Real said. I will think about what he said about if more people think about what I've seen. Is I'm trying something different. It's something new. I'm trying to be quiet. See me be quiet a little bit.
What's up, Shanito? I know you've been quiet for a long time. You got something to say?
Shanito.
She put it in the chat.
Well, I'm not going to say that out loud because I don't want to offend anyone. So I left it in the chat.
No.
Feel free to check it when you get a chance.
Our chat.
Check the chat.
Ladies, do you think that I'm switching it up a little bit, so just follow me here, okay? Do you think we allow men to be vulnerable to us? We allow a certain man to be vulnerable to us? Like, if I don't want you to be vulnerable with me, I'm not gonna give you the opportunity to be vulnerable with me. If I don't feel like you are the one I want to be vulnerable, that I want you to be vulnerable with.
Like we are controlling the situation.
I don't want to say controlling, but if we can't find a better word, then yes. Do you feel like we have the capability of letting the man be vulnerable with us, the one that we want them to be vulnerable with us? Like, if I feel like this isn't the man I really care about, and hearing about his feelings and hearing about, you know, where he came from, do we open that space for them to feel that way? Or do we sometimes be like, I don't even care what you got going on. Next. Do you feel like that we do that? Do we do that?
For me personally, I don't really struggle with this category, and I don't know why. Honestly, it's very strange. It's just the type of men feel connected to me, and they feel like they can connect to me very easily. So men open up to me pretty early on, and are able to be vulnerable.
It's your accent.
With me.
You sound like an automatic counselor. Anybody with a British accent will always have an
I told you, Vee, that's a superpower. I told you it's a superpower.
You'll be at a bus stop. All of a sudden, somebody's laying down, propping up their head and their legs open, telling you their whole life story.
And legs open too?
Legs up.
But you know what, Vee, I don't have that problem either. And so that's why I say, do you feel like we have that kind of leverage to be like, you may feel that way, but I'm not going to allow you to feel that way. Since I know I don't have that problem, am I going to be who I am for you in that moment, or am I not going to just show that to you so you don't feel comfortable opening up yourself to me?
I guess it
you know
depends
what?
on the
I think
relationship.
so. I think women
Yeah.
can.
Mhm.
I feel like I do. I'll say that. I'll put myself out there. I'll say that I do. I don't, because men just feel like it's so easy to talk to you and then just start telling me their life story. And I'm like, we're
I
not,
didn't ask for this today.
I didn't ask for all that.
we're not here. But
That's why I said I
it's
think it.
scary.
That's why I think it depends on the relationship. Like if it's someone that I'm really serious about, such as like, you know, a husband or like a long-term relationship, then yeah, that's like my goal. Like I want him to, I don't want any walls up. I don't want anything separating us, including emotion. I want him to be able to feel safe. But if it's just somebody that I want for their body, like don't talk to me. Just
Yeah,
lay
I'm
down.
not
Just
that.
lay down. That's it. So, you know, but yeah, I do struggle with this. Like, unlike you ladies, so I have to ask myself, what is it about myself that makes guys feel like they can't open up to me? You know, but yeah.
I was just asking. I'm just asking a question.
I have a question, and it kind of goes back to what Dre was saying, and then you ladies also brought a point. And Andrea was talking about it as well. She touched on it earlier. So I want to know, does this issue start with men from their childhood, or do you feel that you're able to open up when you are younger, and then as you get older, that's when the difficulty with being vulnerable comes in? Or is it something that you struggle with when you were young as well? Because it kind of sounds like a lot of the time, like young men tend to open up towards like their mothers or girls or whatever. And somebody, I think it was Dre, that said, you know, sometimes maybe that woman kind of hurt his feelings when he was a teenager or whatever, and was like, I don't care. You know, so I'm wondering, is it not that? So is it that the women are the ones that kind of change you and make you get to that point where you don't feel safe enough to open up to us? Or is it something that actually, no, it started from childhood, it stays with us from childhood, and it's just kind of, if
Really
we're just picking and choosing
Yeah.
who?
You know, so there's a book by Ryan Rush. It's called Walls. Okay. And in that book, it talks about how how people build walls, right? And rarely do somebody get hurt one time and they build a wall. What tends to happen is that after each hurt represents a brick. Okay, and they keep pounding up bricks based on how many times they've been hurt. All right. Some bricks may be bigger, some bricks may be smaller, but they are building walls around whatever space that they need to protect. Now, walls are meant for a couple of reasons: keep people out and keep people in. Okay, that's why we build walls. That's why we build barriers. That's why we want to build. You know, like Trump knows all about that. We want to keep people out and keep people in. That's why we build walls. So walls aren't built just by one situation in most cases, unless the situation was extremely traumatic. Like, for instance, you've been married, you know, some odd years, and it was a great relationship, and all of a sudden you found out that your husband or your wife has been having an affair. All right. Now you're getting a divorce. Now you have built up a huge wall with a huge brick trying to keep people out, and you don't want to get married again after that. That's what it may look like. But in most cases, people learn from their experiences, or allow those experiences to help them put a brick around that space that they either want to keep people out of and keep themselves inside safe. So it's compounding. It's not just like one specific thing. So it could have been like an experience happening as a child, all right? And then it started to compound, and then they got into a relationship, and then something happened then, and then they start to realize, you know what, I'm safer inside this emotional invisible wall that I built with the bricks that I had to put in place to keep me safe.
Right.
So is it only women that kind of make you guys do this? Or can it be a man that gets you in these states?
It could be a man too.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Couldn't it be situations?
Yeah, situations. It could be other men. It could be just taught from childhood. Because I got taught to just shut the hell up and quit being so emotional by my own mama, ironically. So yeah.
And if I could share a little testimony, that's okay. I was
Okay.
I was 14. Okay, about 14, going on 15. I was a freshman in high school, and I had a girlfriend in the 8th grade.
14.
Okay? Yeah.
Wow.
So I had a girlfriend in 8th grade. We was like the star couple at our junior high school, at least amongst the blacks in the school, because that school was extremely segregated inside the walls. But and just little disclosure, I lost my virginity at the age of 12. All right. But I had not had sex from that time until, I was dating her, and even her at that point, me and her was not having sex. She wanted it, but I was like, nah, we don't need to do this. We can wait. One day I went home. We just started high school. We went to different high schools. I went to her house, right? Because I left school early. I don't remember. I know I went to her house. When I got there, the guy that lived across the hall was maybe 12, 13 years older. Was coming out of her house, and she was in a towel. So I was like, yo, what's this about? She told me that it was he was there because he thought my sister was there, and he likes her. And I was like, okay. I'm like, huh, all right. A couple months later, I get a phone call from her mother. Her mother and me and her mother had a great relationship. I called her mom, and she calls me up, and she's flipping out at me on the phone.
She's pregnant.
Did you have sex with my daughter? I said, no, I didn't have sex with your daughter. Don't lie to me. Did you have sex? I said, yeah, I did not lie. And I'm not lying. Like I'm like pleading on the phone with him. I said, Mom, I'm not lying to you. Like, what's happening? Tell me what's going on. She said, I'm gonna let my daughter tell you. So a little bit after, as a couple of hours went by, I wound up calling, and her mother answered the phone. I put her on the phone. And I won't say her name. Like, you guys know her, but I won't say her name. I said, yo, your mom called me asking if we had sex. Why is she calling me to ask me if we had sex? And she wouldn't answer. I said, are you pregnant? She wouldn't answer. Then I said, is it that man from across the hall? Is he the father? She wouldn't answer. All right. And that broke me. It broke me, broke me to the core. I went out the house. I was like crying. I went to my boy's house, told him what happened. Right. And they was telling me, like, it was me. I'll say their names because they don't care. Stephen and Kwam. and Taquan was there too. And it was like, see, like, you can't be like giving your heart to no, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like 14, 15 at the time, right? Yeah, go ahead, say it, bro. Say it. I know it's on the tip of your tongue, bro. I know.
I'm not gonna do it. I want to. I'm not gonna do it though, bro.
My defense. I was 14 at the time. I was 14. So that was the first night. They say, you know what? We got the answer. Let's go for a walk. We went for a walk. We went on the roof of the projects that we lived around. It was the first night ever that I got high. And it became a habit. You know what else became a habit after that? Promiscuity. I was having sex with girls and not allowing myself to be emotionally attached to them.
And is that because you felt like she did what she did because you wouldn't put out for her?
I put a wall. Yeah, I put a wall around my heart. Oh my goodness gracious! I just shared this, and oh man.
Oh, thank you, Dre.
No, it's not. No, that's not what it is. But so ultimately, that actually changed. That didn't change until like I became a Christian at 17. So, so it was tough. So that's how walls are built. Mm-hmm. That's how walls are built. Especially for men. So not and I can't even say that it was her fault, right? Like, she did what she did. Okay, my response was to shut people out. That's not healthy. However, if we don't know better, that's the response, not just for men, but for women as well.
Right.
We all do it.
Right. Even.
Can I ask you a question? why do you think you had a wall? Why was the wall so,
Me?
Yeah. Why do you think you had a wall?
Because I didn't want to put myself in a position to be hurt like that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes bricks are different sizes. The bricks that you build in your wall with are different sizes.
Small,
You know what I
medium,
mean?
and
Like
big.
sometimes if it don't mean, it mean a little bit to you or hurt you some, it might be a smaller brick than a relationship that means a lot more to you. Or your age might play a factor in how big that brick is. Because it seemed like it was a pretty big brick that got laid with that one first, and it was the first, like relationship of that type.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a pretty big ass brick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So the moral of the story is, all right, save yourself until you get married. Right?
Okay.
This way you will not have to listen, learn from my experience. Okay. Save yourself until you're married. Okay. And then, do it the right way. And so, okay.
And it's better like that anyway. It's more beautiful.
Erica?
Yeah.
Just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily believe in that you have to save yourself till you get married, but I do believe, and I've told all my girlfriends this: do not have sex with anyone that you do not want to remember, that you think you might not remember fondly after sex. Do it for yourself. Mm-hmm. And you won't regret it. Even if he breaks up with you, even if something happens, you know what I mean?
Wait, Erica, I'm so sorry. Jayla, I'm gonna need you to leave this conversation now. Like right now. So yeah, my student from last year in the 4th grade just heard me say something extremely personal and intimate. And I wanted to teach her a moral of the story. So Jayla, I think it's safe to say that it's time for you to exit this conversation if you don't mind. Thank you. Love you, but
She's so obedient though.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
She is.
She is. I like her. She cool. She obedient as hell. That's what's up.
She be listening. Bye, Jayla. So cute. Like my daughter.
But no, I feel like women have regrets, or people in general have regrets about having sex with people that they question having sex with in the first place. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing it and you kind of really don't want to, but you kind of convince yourself that you should anyway. And then that's when you have, regret about it and feel like you gave something to someone that didn't deserve it. I remember having the sex ed class way back in the day, and they made that damn pyramid where it was like, whoever you have sex with, you're having sex with whoever they had sex with, and whoever they had.
Oh
sex
yeah,
with.
That was a stretch.
You know what? That
like what's scientific like that.
That was
hey, stay in my mind forever to this day. Like I always felt like, and then growing up in Catholic school too, I always felt like if ever I have sex with somebody, right? Number one, it's a gift. And if you're not worthy of the gift, then I'm not giving to you. And I'm not an Indian giver. So it's plenty of people in my life that I've given gifts to that I don't have any communication with right now, but I don't regret giving them the gift when I gave them that gift, right?
I'm sure they don't either.
Sex should be the same way. It's a gift. If you're going to regret giving the gift because you don't like them anymore, then you probably shouldn't give the gift in the first place.
Yeah.
And secondly, I wouldn't give myself to anybody that I wouldn't want them to hold a piece of me forever. Because in my mind, that's what you're doing. When you're having sex with somebody, they will carry a piece of you and your energy with them.
Soul ties, Lord, soul ties.
Right. So,
okay, soul tie. I just said it.
If I think of that when I want to have sex with somebody, I'm like, is this somebody I want to carry a piece of me forever? Not really.
And I wanted to make a comment to that. When you do have sex, with a bunch of people, like the commercial you brought up, when you have sex with one person, you have sex with who they had sex with, and so on and so forth. I think it's some truth to that, but it's more of a spiritual connection than anything else, because now you're transferring these sexual demons onto you and taking on whatever you're trying to figure out, why am I acting like this? It's not normally my personality, it's not who I am. Now whoever you slept with, you carrying on who they are. Whoever they slept with, you carrying on who they are, and you having all these people in you taking up your spiritual space. But that's all I wanted to add to it.
No, I agree.
Yes.
But I remember the question Shanita was asking about us. I was about women and men. Like, do sometimes we kind of block men from being vulnerable on purpose? I think I was thinking to myself while you were speaking that sometimes I think it's hard. Like, even when you have an issue with it, it's hard to hold back your own emotions. Like, almost kind of in the scenario like when I was talking about my son or sons, and Dre was saying, sometimes just allow him the space to express himself. I think sometimes we won't always want to be so expressive that we don't necessarily give men the platform that they need to be as vulnerable as they need to be. And for me, that's something that I'm working on, because my husband gives me the platform to be vulnerable and to do it in my own time. And sometimes I'm not patient enough to give him the platform to be vulnerable when he's ready. I want it right now. Right? I ask the question right now. How you don't know what you think right now? You know what I mean? Like, man is no
as I was saying before,
pay a penny for your thoughts. What you thinking about, babe? Nothing. How you thinking about nothing? Your brain. I'll be like, your brain's always working. You think something about what I just said. What you thinking?
But if I can go back to what I was saying earlier, when he's not ready and you are, right? Who does that become about?
It becomes about me.
Yes.
Because it becomes about my timetable of when the conversation should take place.
Yeah.
When if it's about his healing and it's about my only responsibility really should be to give him the platform to stand on safely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to back off. But it's just, it's a challenge. I won't lie, it's a challenge.
Erica, it's so funny that you mentioned that sometimes you ask your husband, what are you thinking about? And he says, nothing. Right? That's not how our brains work, right? Because we're always thinking something, right? So do you think that they really think nothing at that moment?
No. I just think they're thinking nothing that sometimes, occasionally, but I think most of the time they're just not thinking anything that they think is kind of
share worthy.
Yes.
You know what it is? I'm gonna tell you know why they respond nothing? Because once you ask that question, they've already in their mind, in that quick second from the time you ask that question until the time they answered nothing, in that quick mind, they already saw the future and saw what was the outcome of this conversation, and it was like, it's not worth it.
How could they possibly see? How could they possibly foresee the future of that conversation?
Have you know Dr. Strange? You ever seen Endgame? It happened.
I have, but you're not Dr.
Okay,
y'all are not.
You know what though? Because, and I'm not saying this to be facetious or anything else, anything like that this time. Men or males in general just do not be thinking about anything that's worth sharing. Most of the time they're thinking about, oh, that car looked nice, or I wonder how much shoes cost today. Like, they're not really.
Is it the waffle brain, Nita?
It is. It's really nothing. I asked my partner. We were riding in the car.
I think
one day, and it got really quiet. So I'm like, "What you thinking about?" And he was like, "How I just beat such and such in this game." And I was like, "That's what you're thinking about? But that's what you want to talk about?" But it wasn't. It's literally nothing worth sharing. He just thought about whatever.
I just feel like women, like us as women, like we're such.
Majority of the time, it's not.
like, I just feel like us as women, like, we're such dimensional creatures. We're such dimensional thinkers. Like, our thoughts go a thought within a thought within a thought within a thought, back to the first thought, and jump to the third thought. We're dimensional. We're not just third dimensional. Bam, there we are. But we're like on some other dimension with our thinking, you know? Like, we don't need to just think forward, but we think in all different directions. So that's why I feel like when I ask my husband, hey babe, what are you thinking right now? Because his face looks interesting. Like, he looks like he's thinking really deeply right now. And then he says nothing. And I'm like,
Huh?
but by the time you just said nothing, I just had like 500 thoughts just now. So I always think that he's thinking like me, but now I'm beginning to wonder if he really is thinking nothing. Like, he's really thinking nothing. Or one thought. So
Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the spaghetti brain, waffle brain that Nita always tells us about.
Right. I have a question. Okay, so you know how you
Nice.
kept saying like that who does it then become about, right? It's kind well, why would okay, so if your woman wants you to open up to her and you're just saying no, then do you not feel that there should be some kind of communication as to why you are not?
Yeah.
And it should be open and honest, because I know you're saying it's more about us when it gets to that point, but at the same time, we need to understand why you're not.
But
In
would
order
you
for there to
accept it though?
be peace or understanding.
So, but
between
the
you
also
two.
question is also, would you accept the why? Why don't you want to talk to me right now? Because I don't feel like we're in a space to discuss what I need to discuss.
No, that would hurt.
Right.
And that's my point.
Why?
So see, now
Why would
you
that
answered
hurt?
it. You answered
Why
it
would that
honestly,
hurt, though?
and that's exactly what I thought. You
That
know,
wouldn't hurt you, Erica.
You know what? I had okay. In 25 years, everything.
Oh, see, you're
everything haven't
different.
always been perfect, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you this. I had another relationship during my marriage, and my husband knew about it, and it's over now, and we've healed from that, and and everything, right? But one of the things that was that I really appreciated about that relationship is that when we had a disagreement or I had something to say to him, if he wasn't ready to talk about something, or if things started to get heated and started to go in a direction that wasn't productive for the conversation, he would communicate to me, let's table this and come back to, he would always say the same thing, let's table this and come back to it when we have clearer heads.
I love
which
that.
made sense to me, right?
Love
Because
that.
I know I'm talking crazy, and he don't want to talk crazy, right? Because he care about me, and so he's like, we getting too heated right now. But what the difference is that he always came back, and I learned to trust that he would always revisit the conversation when the and cooler heads always prevailed. Yeah. My husband, on the other hand, hadn't been taught in whatever way that gentleman had been taught, right? And so he was a shut down person. When things start going, he might say, I don't want to talk about this right now, but he would never come back. And so the reason why sometimes as women, we keep going, and beating our guys to death to speak about something now, and guys need to understand this too, is because we don't trust that you're going to come back and revisit and help to resolve the conversation or the issue with us. A lot of times, if we let you walk away from that moment, you'll think, I'm free, I'm clear, I got away, and not come back. When really what happens is the issue just comes back bigger the next time, a little bit bigger every time that you don't find some resolution. So it's kind of like both of us play a part in it. When a guy, like Harrison was saying, if a guy says, let's revisit this or let's table this, for us to not feel offended, right? But also, if you say that, you have to come back and say at some point and say tomorrow, and say, let's talk about what we were talking about, earlier this morning when you were so upset. Here's your glass of wine. I got mine. I got the jazz music playing. Let's go ahead and talk about what you wanted to talk about. Then I'll trust that you're going to come back, and I won't continue to escalate, the conversation. So it's both of us, because the reality is I think they are looking out for us when they say, I don't want to talk about it right now. But most of the time, that right now means never.
That's so true.
That was deep.
I really like how you said that he would say, "Let's come back with a clear mind." Like,
I used to love that, and I ain't gonna lie. I can't. When me and my husband start working it out, I said, "Check this out." Guess what he used to say, and it worked all the time. And the way I used to do you, I didn't never do him like that, because he always came back. And he's such a good guy in the sense that he wasn't intimidated by hearing about what worked for someone else, because he cared about making our relationship work. God bless him. Yeah. That he doesn't say exactly that, but when he says he doesn't want to talk about something right now, or that we could talk about this later, I trust him now, because he'll come back and talk to me about it later, because he realizes that it's important to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love that.
And this was the other guy?
The other guy would say that to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're following. I'm following.
What drew me to do what happened was I was lacking communication, and I was lacking that emotional tie, right? When we talking about men and being vulnerable in the emotions, when we talk now, we talk about, things about his childhood, and, he grew up kind of as an only child with just his mom. My husband did. And him and his mom, they didn't talk and wasn't super, like, quote unquote emotional. You know what I mean? It was like, they kind of was like, not kind of like roommates in a way, because he was a good kid and he didn't need to be disciplined all the time or anything like that. And, she was a real laid back type of woman. So, he didn't have a lot of emotional training, and I didn't ask for that either. When I asked for what the qualities that I wanted in a guy, so I always take responsibility for that. I got what I asked for. I tell Andrea that all the time.
I'm gonna head off now, because.
But before you head off, I just have one final question.
Yeah.
And then I'm wrapping up as well, Dre, so you know.
Oh yeah, because it's
okay.
It's late. Yeah.
Yeah. In the resolve, and you men telling us, what you need and what's going to help you be vulnerable. What is going to be the caveat to that? What is going to be the exchange? So we're making these adjustments for you to be vulnerable to us. What is it that we're going to get in return? Or are we just supposed to just accept it and just wait for you? I mean, I know this is about men, but if we're talking about relationships and men being in relationships and wanting to open up, what is going to be the give back?
So you want to know what you're getting back, and what benefit is it of you to you?
That's what I said.
The way Dre was things.
I'm just, because I want to be clear, because and I worded it because I wanted to be clear. I just want to make sure that it wasn't about the benefit, because
I didn't say benefit. I said, what is the exchange?
Well, when you say, all right, so the thing is, like, all right, so you know how last week I talked about, what's that word? When you bring something to the table, you thought about finances. When I think of exchange, I think of mutually benefiting. So that's why. All right, so you're just wondering what's he's going to.
If we're in a relationship and making this work, I give to you, you give to me. What is the give back to me? Since I'm giving this to you, I'm allowing you this time to be, get yourself together and all of this stuff, so you can be vulnerable. Since there are no timetables to this, what is going to be the exchange?
The exchange is that he is going to be opening up very slowly until he realizes, hopefully he gets to that realization that you can be trusted with it.
So it sounded like to me that it's just all about him.
Isn't this the show? Wait, but isn't the show all about the guys tonight, though? Isn't it about the guys tonight, though?
No, it is about the guys tonight. But like I said, we're talking about relationships. I'm talking about relationships.
Yeah.
And we're talking about relationships, and it is about the guy. And if we're in a relationship, am I supposed to just wait? Because I also think about too that men want their women to feel secure, and they want their women to feel safe. So in turn, she has to let herself be vulnerable enough to feel safe. So that's why, and I started thinking again, okay, so then what's the exchange? If I'm giving you this time to be vulnerable, what are you going to do for me? I'm not talking about the dating stages. I'm talking about in relationships. Is you giving to me just waiting for you to, or me waiting for you to be vulnerable, is the exchange of me just waiting? No. Or for you to be vulnerable, is the exchange of me just waiting?
I think that also comes across with what I said earlier about the fact that they need to communicate with us when they're in that space as to why they cannot open up. Because I think that I see what Shanita's saying. And
they don't.
So what is it that it's kind of like, in a way, in this section of a relationship of what we're talking about with vulnerability and men being vulnerable, it's kind of coming across like it's a man's world. It's and we're just living in it, and we have to just accept what they have to say, how they say, or whatever they feel in that moment. Women just have to accept it, shut up, and come back and deal with it later.
Hell?
That's how it's coming across in this set. No, what I'm saying in like in this section coming across of what we're talking about is coming across that way, and that. You know, that's why I said, well, you guys kind of need to communicate, and
but here's the thing,
you know how women are. So you want to know why.
You want to know why he's not opening up. So you're asking him to be vulnerable about why he's not being vulnerable.
He's not going to do that. He is not. You will not. You will not get an answer.
We don't get that from a man. No,
we will not get that answer at all.
Right, but then but women, does that not infuriate you and get you frustrated even more because they're not now communicating?
Basically,
my point. Then it becomes about you and not him opening up.
Exactly, and when you explain why, that's pretty much him being vulnerable anyway. So no, he's not going to open up about that.
No, he's not going to open up.
Basically, all we have to do is just let them open up when they get there.
Yeah.
If we are still there.
Yeah, now that's the thing.
Right, because that's not fair, right?
Well, that's the thing.
Because that's intimacy for us. That communication is very important for us.
On the flip side to that is,
we're still there.
If this is something that you can manage. If you cannot, all right, and you have done everything you could for this man to open up, there's some walls that you can't break down. It's time for you to turn around and walk away from that house.
And that's good, because that's not the one for you. He's not breaking it down for you, so you're not the one.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, you're not here to heal a man.
Oh,
like,
no.
That's not your job as a spouse.
No.
Like, you're not here to
I know that.
Like, you can help the process of him healing himself. And in most cases, if he's able to open up to you, that's him healing. Right? That's him healing. The fact that he can open up to somebody is a matter of him doing the healing work. You were just there, you're a catalyst for the healing, but he's doing most of the work. Right? If he is not in a place where he wants to be healed or he wants to open up that door, right? You have every right. Yeah, you cannot force. You have every right to say, you know what, I do care for you, and there's some things that I know you're working out, but I think that somebody else would be better suited to help you work that out.
Yep.
So the exchange is we just wait.
The exchange is what?
We just wait.
We just wait.
Yeah.
And eventually hope to receive this trust enough to have this beautiful vulnerability. But if it takes too long,
it's peace. Bye.
Yeah.
If you won't feel like he's worth it,
No, not
I
that
just
he's
don't
not
feel like I
worth
should
it.
have to waste my time.
Not worth it. We ain't got time to waste.
No, it's not
I
that.
think that's it. It's like a waste of
Not
time.
that. How did we get to it not him not being worth it?
He that
It's
worth
not
it.
that.
Because
Erica, say it again. Say it again.
I feel like if you're in a serious committed relationship, we should be able to be vulnerable with one another together.
I agree.
Some of us are more
You should feel
conscious of that
comfortable.
though than others. You know what I mean? Like I would try to be conscious of that more than because I like not that I just have a super amount of experience of like in it, but I think that when you don't remain open, you're closing yourself off to everything, right? People who wonder why they can't find love, it's like Harrison said, sometimes walls are meant to keep people in and out. So when you have a wall, you might be keeping certain amounts of pain out, but you'll start to break down those walls from the inside out when you realize that the pain of staying in is greater than the pain of allowing somebody to come in, and maybe they're not going to hurt you like you think that they are.
And sometimes,
know?
like, I just feel like hurt is part of life. Like, who has lived to our age and has
And
never
is.
been hurt?
And
There's
not been
nobody on this living face of the earth who has never been hurt. Like, literally, like, I feel like humans are meant to hurt each other sometimes. Like, that's just what it is.
How to
So
process
now
it.
we have to figure out how to process it, how to heal from it, and stuff like that. But a person who's not ready to open up and break down those walls, then
Right.
I think it is a worthy thing. I'm not worthy to hear your heart. I'm not worthy to then whatever. You're not worthy for me then.
That's true. And on those thoughts, we come to the end of that debate for tonight. I will start with Harrison, and then I'll go around for everybody's final thoughts. So go on, Dre. Sorry.
Oh, quickly. All right. So, men for the most part want somebody that they can be vulnerable with. They just want to know that the person that they're vulnerable with can be trusted with their vulnerability. For women, submission is a gift. For a man, vulnerability is a gift. All right. You can't expect submission and you can't expect vulnerability. It's got to be given. So once it's trusted, it'll be given.
Okay. Andrea?
I'm just listening. I learned some stuff tonight. Maybe silence is a little better for Andrea, okay?
Robin?
So I just want to say what I learned tonight is I think I'm going to be looking at everybody a little differently now. Going forward, every person is, I don't know, like maybe fighting their own battles, things that they've brought up from childhood. So I myself have learned tonight a little bit more into the male mind, the nothingness of it all. And yeah.
Real talk, 87.
I just said that just so that I can see the facial expression.
Going real.
Okay. I do say that men should want to open up to their woman and be vulnerable with a woman. And I'm an advocate of doing that, but at the same time, if you are hurt from a past relationship or a past experience or whatever, do not go into a relationship with that hurt. You need to heal before you get into that relationship. So that's it.
Okay.
Facts.
That's a good one.
I just want to say that I understand that men need to feel as safe as women need to feel in a relationship. There's no exclusivity to having the need to feel safe and protected and covered in a relationship. And so we as women have to do for them what we ask them to do for us sometimes too. And I'm working on that.
Okay. Yeah.
This was a great topic tonight. I'm glad we came back for round 2 and we got to understand the minds of the men and we got some understanding. I am glad that the men got their chances to talk and to be heard. And that's all I have to say.
Okay, guys, you have heard it from everybody on the panel, what their final thoughts are from tonight's discussion. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section outside of the chat. Thank you guys all for coming. Also, if you have a burning topic that you would like us to discuss, please also leave that below in the chat so that we can talk about it and bring it up. And potentially your question could get picked for next week. I hope everybody has a blessed week. We will see you soon next Sunday. Bye, everyone.
Adios.